Hey, boys and girls, I'm back. We're on day 4 of our review work for our e-learning and distance learning. This time we're reviewing our biomes, our giant ecosystems. All right, and let's start reading. Directions. Read the following passage to help you answer the questions below. Day 4, ecosystems, biomes. Ecosystems that have similar characteristics can be grouped together into biomes. Earth has several land biomes. Each land biome is associated with its own climate conditions. Remember how I said that ecosystems go right with the climate? For instance, the taiga is way far away from the equator and it's really cold as a result. The tundra is even farther away from the equator, which makes it really, really cold. So climate and biomes go hand in hand. All right, it says the Earth has many different kinds of ecosystems. These include terrestrial, terra, right? Tierra in Spanish means dirt, and Terra in Teen Titans Go is in charge of all the rocks. Terrestrial or land-based. And aquatic, agua in Espanol. Agua is aquatic, the same root from Greek or Latin, probably Latin, or water-based. So aquatic is water and terrestrial is land. The major terrestrial ecosystems are rainforest, deciduous forest, grasslands and deserts, plus we learned about tundra and taiga too. Each of these ecosystems has specific characteristics that can be used to identify them. Terrestrial biomes. Tropical rainforests are warm regions with heavy rainfall. Most rainforest life is found in the trees. Rainforest species include monkeys, sloths, vines, and parrots. The climate of a rainforest is usually hot and wet. Heavy rainfall, around 150 centimeters a year, and year-round warm temperatures make it very humid. Many rainforests are found near the equator. A rainforest is very dense with lots of large trees that block out sunlight. Very little sunlight reaches the rainforest floor. Remember, an adaptation in the rainforest that many plants have is that there are vines that wind up to the top of the tree so that they can get the sunlight that's blocked by the canopy of the rainforest. All right, now, deciduous forests. Deciduous forests receive less rainfall than rainforests and have warm and cold seasons. Remember, they have 4 seasons, and we live in a deciduous forest. These forests contain trees such as maple and oak, which lose their leaves in the winter. Again, that happens to some of our trees in North Carolina. Animal species include woodpeckers, skunks, and deer, and bunnies and possums, and what else? Bunnies and possums and raccoons and coyotes, because we have all of those in North Carolina. The climate, black bears. The climate of a deciduous forest is temperate with 4 distinct seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. Deciduous forests have warm summers and cold winters. They have moderate precipitation throughout the year. That means in the middle. All right. Trees in a deciduous forest usually lose their leaves during the winter and have thick bark to save water and protect them from the cold. Grasslands receive less rainfall than forests. They are covered with small plants that can survive periods of drought and hot summer weather. Grassland species in North America, American grasslands, include prairie dogs. As you know, the American grasslands are called the prairies, elk, and buffalo. African grassland species include gazelles and zebras and lions. All right, deserts receive very little rain and much of the soil is bare. Desert plants include cacti and hardy shrubs and trees. Desert animals include scorpions with a little tail like an arrow on the back. In the back, coyotes, even though they live here too. Coyotes are very versatile animals. They can live in lots of places. And roadrunners. The climate of a desert is very dry with less than 250 millimeters of rainfall a year. Hot deserts have 2 distinct seasons. Summer, when the temperature ranges between 35 and 40 Celsius, which is very hot. Remember, there's 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. Cold, cool, warm, hot, very hot. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 30. That's the hot and very hot. In winter, when the temperatures range between 20 and 30. 0, 10, 20, 30. So that's warm and hot in the winter. So in the winter, deserts are still really warm and hot. In the summer, they get hot and very hot. All right, aquatic biomes. Aquatic biomes can be organized by their type of water, either fresh or salt. Freshwater ecosystems include lakes and ponds. Lakes are large bodies of water that are surrounded by land. Lakes are freshwater. Algae, aquatic plants, freshwater fish, amphibians, ducks, slider turtles, and beavers are some of the organisms that live in lakes. Ponds are small bodies of freshwater that are surrounded by land. Ponds are smaller and shallower than lakes, which means that the temperature of the water usually stays the same from top to bottom. Like lakes, the organisms that can be found in ponds include aquatic plants, algae, fish, amphibians, ducks, and slider turtles. So that's why when we study this, boys and girls, we study ponds and lakes together. Even though ponds are more shallow, you basically find the same organisms that live in both. All right, saltwater biomes include estuaries, salt marshes, and oceans. An estuary, you know what this is an area in which freshwater and salty ocean water mixes together. These areas may include bays, mouths of rivers, and lagoons. Estuaries have water that is saltier than the water found in lakes and ponds, but not as salty as the water that is found in the ocean. In estuaries, ocean water provides nutrients needed for plants to grow well. These plants provide shelter and food for birds and other kinds of animals. The plants in estuaries are marsh grasses and other plants that are adapted to water levels that change with the tides. Muskrats, seabirds such as herons and egrets, shellfish such as shrimp and crabs, and saltwater crocodiles are often found in estuaries. Oceans are large bodies of salt water and have many types of ecosystems, great biodiversity, depending on the characteristics, such as available sunlight, temperature, depth, and salinity, which means the saltiness of that part of the ocean. Remember that shallower parts of the ocean have much greater biodiversity than the deep parts because you need sunlight to have organisms thrive. And in the deep parts of the ocean, down at the bottom, you're not going to have a whole lot of biodiversity because you don't have a lot of sunlight. Some examples of organisms that live in the shallow ocean are jellyfish, seaweed, starfish, crabs, coral, and saltwater fish such as tunas. Other organisms are able to live in the open ocean. These organisms include plankton, such as phytoplankton, which is plant plankton, whales, sea turtles, dolphins, octopuses, I thought that was octopi, and sharks. All right, let's attack the questions. All right, question number 1 says, the table shows characteristics of 2 ecosystems. Ecosystem A best summarizes which land-based ecosystem. So let's look. Ecosystem A does not have a variety of trees. Ecosystem A does have fertile soil. Fertile means it's good for growing things. Ecosystem A has tall grasses. Ooh, it doesn't have a lot of trees, but it has tall grass. Y'all, I know what this is. Do you know? Then it says temperatures vary depending on location, and it says it does. And then it says shrubs, grasses, and ferns, and it doesn't say that, but it says it has tall grass. So I think I know. Desert, forest, grassland, mountain. I know what y'all are going to pick. I know you're going to get that one right. All right, number 2. A student listed the characteristics of a few environments. In which environment is a cactus most likely found? Characteristics of a few environment. Oh, we're looking for a cactus. So we're probably looking for dry, not a lot of rain. All right, so environment 1 is cold and dry. That would not be cactus because cactus usually like hot deserts. Number 2, hot and dry. I bet that's it. Number 3, warm and large amounts of water. Hot and very humid. All right, y'all know where a cactus would be, so we're going to move on. All right, number 3. Which aquatic organism would most likely be found living in a freshwater ecosystem? Coral, frog, starfish, stingray. Which aquatic organism would most likely be found